Vroom, 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 vroom. Oh, hi. Welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper. My wife always jokes that I sit on my toys and make vroom, vroom noises when I can't drive them, but I don't actually do that. That was just for her. Now, this is the gray drum drive garden tractor that I started building on. This is a model of an original built between 1918, somewhere in there, to 1936. They made several models of these based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I always liked them, but I could never find one. So I decided to build a roughly half-scale model. So let's grab the camera and do a quick walk around and show you where we're at with this build. So I've been making some pretty good progress, nice and slow and, in between paying jobs, but the thing that's been happening is I have that apprentice through the Wisconsin Youth Apprentice Program, and I've been having him work on this. He's been doing the welding, the machining. It's a good learning experience. This jack shaft here, he machined it, well, cut it, turned it down, and milled the keyways in it. He's milled the slots in the pump slide down here. He's welded in all the cross members, drilled the holes. He's been doing quite a bit with this since I last worked on it. And this is a motor that I restored quite some time ago, a Wisconsin TF, 2-cylinder air-cooled. And we're going to belt drive to that variable displacement piston pump and then to the hydraulic motor. Now, it's coming along. It's slow, but it's good progress. And we at least finally have the seat mounted. And the original, the seat swung off to the side, just like this, so that you could, when you're pulling implements, you could sit off to the side and see your implements behind you. So I designed it the same way. And that's a cast iron seat that I picked up off eBay. Same with the steering wheel, so early 1900s stuff. The drum is actually a prototype drum for a asphalt roller from my company I used to do work with. I bought it when they decided to scrap the prototype, and I bought this drum, and actually 2 drums. And so I turned this one into the rear drum, and then I built the front wheels out of 16-inch schedule 40 pipe, welded in the plates, and then wheel trailer hubs in there. And pretty much everything on here I've built so far, with the exception of the miter gears down here for the steering, down in here, and the steering sector, which is a Ross sector, and then, the sprockets and bearings and things like that, just buy them. So, been a pretty cool build so far, and I'm looking forward to getting going further on it. So I'm at the point in this build where we need to start building the hydraulic tank and the hydraulic oil cooler. I decided to build my own cooler, and I have the pieces to do it. I'm going to TIG weld it all together, and I'm going to shoot that for you today. So you'll get to see me TIG weld up my oil cooler and show you the design that I'm going to use for this. There's going to be a belt-driven fan behind the cooler to draw air through. Just trying to make this very similar to what the original was, but not quite. The originals had a big liquid-cooled Waukesha. They did not have hydraulic drive, but I'm putting the radiator on there, the hydraulic oil cooler, to simulate the radiator and try to make it look as good as an original, or as close to an original. My concept here is as if Gray was still in business in the 50s and building garden tractors. So that's kind of the idea here. So let's get set up and start putting together my oil cooler. So the concept of the build here is I have these 2 plates that already have the holes in them. I have the tubes cut and polished, and we will put this together just like this. So they'll be spaced, but these tubes will be between and welded. And then the oil comes in at the top and just kind of trickles down it and returns to the main hydraulic tank with the fan behind it pulling the air through. Now, the first thing I'm going to do here to set this up is I'm going to actually weld my side plates on, which are just a little bit longer than the actual width, and that'll give me something to attach a guard to once this is on the hydraulic tank and the fan is on there. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up. I'll put these side plates on, get them tacked in place, and then set my height, set the second plate in there, tack that in place, make sure everything's nice and square, and then I'll start putting my tubes in and tacking those in. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little rusty on my TIG welding, but this was my last weld there. I finally got her going pretty good. And I used to do a lot of TIG welding back in the day, and I got out of it. And mostly because everybody wanted me to fix their aluminum boats and stuff, and you know, bring me the nastiest stuff to weld. And I just got rid of the TIG welder, and then because of this project I decided to buy a new one, and I bought this Prime Weld 225. I absolutely love this thing, and I've got the water cooler for it. I still got to get the water cooled torch and everything set up, but absolutely love this welder. It's got a CK Worldwide torch. I still got to get the water cooled torch on here and everything set up, but I'm very happy with this TIG welder. So I'm going to keep going on welding this up, and we'll just get her done. Wow, I am most definitely out of practice, but what better way to hone my skills in than working on something of my own instead of a paying customers? It'll get better. It'll get better with time, but definitely I'm a little rusty. So I'm gonna keep going on this thing, and we'll see if we can get her finished up. I got that all welded up, and there might be a few spots that I need to touch up here and there, but definitely improving on my skills here. And this side I'm gonna have to hit that quick with the flap wheel and just smooth that out, because the plan was to have this sit flat on the surface, set my tubes in. So there's a little raise there. We'll clean that up. Again, definitely my skills are improving on the TIG welding, and I'm not gonna say too much. I actually recently called a couple of welders I know better grinders than welders, and well, now I'm gonna be grinding, so I can't say much. So I'll get that polished up, we'll get the tubes in it, and we'll start welding those in. So to weld these in, I'm not even going to use filler metal. I'm just going to fuse each one. That'll actually hold it really well. Shouldn't be any problems, so we'll get started on that. Well, that's the back side all welded. Let her cool, and then I'll start welding the front side. All done. Well, there it is, the main body of the oil cooler. You know, I see some of my welds aren't the prettiest, some of them are pretty nice. Definitely a learning experience, getting back into TIG welding and just fusing it all, but I'm overall very happy with it. I'll probably grind this, clean it up, and then just kind of refuse anything that needs it. So this is the outside. I want it to look the best, but I think this actually doesn't look too terrible. But we'll see when I get it all cleaned up. So there you have it, another step closer on this. Again, I'm sorry I'm not filming a lot of this because, you know, like I said, my apprentice is the one doing most of the work on this. It's a good learning experience for him. And Connor is only 16 years old, so with all the legalities of, you know, children on YouTube and all that, I just don't want to have problems, so I haven't been filming him. We have talked about it. I've talked, you know, with his parents a bit about it, but we're not sure, and I just don't want to dig into that too much with YouTube and worry about having problems there. So we'll just leave it at that, and we'll keep working on this, and when it's, you know, when there's something that I can film, we'll film it, and, you know, once it's all done, we'll take it out and actually try it out. So some pretty cool stuff coming up, but there may not be a video next week. I'm going on vacation. We'll see how it goes, if I can get something put together quick or not. But with that, till next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.